Hello, everybody. It's so great to be here. A little bit nervous because it's been so long since we've done a demo, huh? A few years ago, it's just like old hat. Okay, da-da-da, we're good. So it's a little bit nervous. So if we run into weird things, just be patient. We're also videoing it. Hopefully we're going to be able to video all of our demo kitchen classes, and then we'll load them up on YouTube, and then we put that link on the YouTube page, so if you want to watch, you can. So this is the first experiment with using the tripod. All right. So at first we were just going to do sushi bowls, but then I was hungry as I was getting ready for the class. So I thought, we should do egg rolls in a bowl too, because they're so easy and yummy as well. They aren't your authentic Chinese recipes, however. Because somebody said, is this Chinese? I went, nope. It's from a magazine, but it works really well. The advantage to having a sushi bowl or egg roll in a bowl is that you don't have to deep fry. And although I love egg rolls so much deep fried, I don't make them just because I'm too lazy to get the oil out and heat it up and all that kind of stuff. So, and this is, I'm sure, more nutritious. And sushi in a bowl, this is just like making sushi, only you don't have to roll it up. And isn't that an awesome thing? So, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cook some, what I did was I brought cow rose rice. And if you want to take it, I'll just show you. This, here, I'm just going to give this to Linda, and I'm going to pass it around.
What is this rice?
Cow rose rice
Cow rose rice.
is a Japanese variety of rice that's shorter and fatter. Okay, and the cool thing about it is that it's a little bit sticky when you cook it, but it's not quite as firm and sticky as your Thai sticky rice, because your Thai sticky rice is long, just like your long grain rice, but the variety makes it stickier and a little more substantial. So I'll put on our Facebook page, the kind I use is the kind I get at Fred Meyer's. It's called homemade cow rose rice, and you buy that by the 25 pounds. H-O-M-A-I. But I'm pretty sure you could get it at Winco and all those places at 5 pounds each. So don't go buy 25 pounds unless you eat like we do. Okay, so I'm going to take this cow rose rice, and I brought my induction cooker, which is awesome. And I use it for demonstrating because I can just bring my cooker with me, but when you use an induction cooker, you have to use an induction ready pan. So not all pans work for it. And so while it comes to a boil and all that, we'll chop and get ready for the rest of the demonstration. So the recipe says to take 2 cups of rice, so I'm making 4 cups of rice, okay? And as you will see when I start cooking, I don't really measure that good. I would suggest you follow because this way I can, if I have a lot of cabbage, I'll add a lot of cabbage. If I don't, then I won't. And if I have a lot of meat, I do. If I don't have a lot of meat, it still tastes good, just not as much. So the recipe says 4 cups of cow rose rice, and then it says, in the recipe it says 2 cups of cow rose rice and 2 1/4 cup of water. So I'm going to wash this, and then I'm going to measure 2 5.5 cups of water, and I'm going to see how close that comes to the Chinese method, which is you put your finger on top of the water, and then you just fill it with water, the pot with water, until it reaches above your top knuckle. And it's the water displacement method, so no matter how much rice you have and how big your pot is, the water is going to vary according to how much rice you have in your pan. So let's see what 4.5 cups of water does for us.
So you've got 4 cups of rice in there?
I've got 4 cups of Calrose rice in here. And we want to, the video isn't going to get this all tough out. You want to rinse the rice several times until it's clear, because although we're trying to get a stickier rice, they can coat rice with talc or some kind of a starch so it doesn't stick together and it absorbs the water. And when you can see how starchy this water is. If you don't rinse it off, and especially if you're cooking regular white rice, you'll end up with a gooey, stickier mess sometimes. Yes?
One tip, sisters, rinse your rice with cool water and not warm water.
I always use cold water, but I didn't know that I should. I'm glad I'm doing it right. Because otherwise, I guess you can kind of par cook the starch onto your rice. So.
My aunt is half Japanese,
Oh.
and her family, yeah. So she taught it to me.
So all I've done is I've just rinsed it 2 or 3 times so that the initial layer of starch is gone. So now I'm going to put in 4.5 cups of water. See where it measures up. And if it measures too much, I'm going to dump it out. And I'm going to use the surefire method. My surefire method.
And the big white cup is 2 cups, it's not
Yeah.
1 cup measure, so don't.
Yeah, so this is the coolest thing. You get them at Walmart.
Not anymore.
Oh, serious?
Not anymore. I got it before the pandemic and I haven't seen them since. And that's
Oh,
why
I'm
I
so
got
glad I
it.
got it. I mean, it has 2 cups, 1 3/4. I mean, how handy is that, right? Anyway, sorry, you'll just have to keep looking for it.
That's it. I just get my order every time I go. They keep asking for it and get back to me.
Look on mine, yeah. Hey, you guys, it does. Yeah. So, this is, the water comes right to there. So the measurement's good.
You just
So-
barely touch the top of the rice. You
Just
don't
barely
let your
touch,
hand
you
in.
don't dig it in. Okay. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on my induction cooker. Just press the timer on, and you can choose it by heating by number or heating by temperature. So I'm going to press the middle one, which is by temperature, and 5 equals 320 degrees, so I can actually make it go hotter. Because I used to try and do it with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It seemed like it was always the same. It was always 320. And then when I switched to temperature, it kind of did stay always at 320. So I would use it by temperature. So this is an induction ready cooker. So I'm just gonna let the water come to a full boil. Okay?
No salt.
Huh? No salts, no salt. Let's see, I think we should make egg roll in a bowl first. So this one's an interesting little recipe because it calls for a pound of ground meat. So I went to Winco and bought ground turkey because it was the cheapest. I mean, ground pork, it was $3.48 for 1 pound. Ground turkey was like $4.48, hamburger was $4 something. So it's like, whoa. But if I'm making egg rolls at home, I use pork a lot. So I'm using pork, and then it calls for a sweet onion, a tablespoon of sesame oil, and you can buy sesame oil in the grocery stores now, but we buy ours in the giant economy size.
By the fat.
By the fat, and soy sauce too. And then it calls for rice vinegar, and you're supposed to take the rice vinegar and put it on the stove and mix it with, oh no, that's for the sushi bowl. Eventually, when we make the sushi rice with the sushi vinegar. You'll mix rice vinegar with salt and with sugar. Or you can buy seasoned rice vinegar, which already has the salt and the sugar in it.
I didn't know what the season was for that.
So it works really well. And if you're a person that uses a lot of just plain rice vinegar, then I'd buy it. But if you're gonna buy rice vinegar and you're mostly gonna make sushi or something like that, I'd just buy it already made.
Is that the only seasonings that come when it says seasons? And it doesn't come like with garlic and onion seasoning, or there's other seasonings?
I don't think so.
Okay,
They might have like,
just
they're
seasoning.
getting very interesting now. So maybe if you look, you'll see a garlic flavor or something like that. But we want just seasoned, mild and sweet. And if you look at the ingredients, it says salt and sugar and the rice vinegar. And then, it says to use fresh garlic, which I have somewhere.
Over there, right here.
Oh, thank you. What's he doing over there all by himself? And ginger. And so when you buy ginger, all you have to do is just break off a knob wherever you're at. Don't think that you're stuck with buying a giant club of ginger. Yes.
What do you think of minced garlic involved?
I have a lot of family that uses the minced garlic and the minced ginger. So if I'm in a pinch and that's all I have, I'll use it, but I prefer fresh. So you can just take this and then put it in the freezer if you're not using it, or leave it in the fridge for a while. But even in the fridge for a while, it starts shrinking up and then eventually molding. And then this calls for less sodium soy sauce. So I bought less sodium soy sauce. I always like a lot of salt, so I always buy full sodium and add salt. So we'll try it with low sodium and see how good it is. But I also brought salt. And then says a 16 ounce of coleslaw. Well, this is 14 ounces of coleslaw, and it's $1.28 for this package. I also decided to buy a whole cabbage, and if you had a smaller one, it'd be great, but this is the smallest one I could find at Winco, and it's 3 pounds something, at 69 cents a pound, so you know it's cheaper, because I don't even have a full pound here. But sometimes time is money, and sometimes I just assume not have all this stuff that's dying in my refrigerator, and it's faster to just buy this. And then it says, I added the package of bean sprouts. The original recipe doesn't have it, but Winco carries bean sprouts, and I think that just adds a little lift to your meal. And then it says 2 green onions, so here's some green onions, and I think it's mostly for color. And then it says half a cup of grated or matchstick carrots. So I decided I'd try and buy some that was already cut, just for fun. And it's $1 something for this whole package, which isn't very much. But I also bought these carrots, and I think it was like 60 cents. So if you're really tight on money, or you're trying to teach your kids how to do food and on a budget, then it is cheaper to do this. Because when you look at this, there's really nothing to it except carrots. That's all they've added. So 69 cents versus $1.28 for 14 ounces. Susie,
So will you leave your carrot disc, your slices as slices, or are you gonna stack them?
I'm gonna stack them. Okay, so let's see how I do here. Okay, so usually what I do is I have to cut everything so that it's ready to go, because the cooking goes quick. And I'm kind of watching my rice, I'm watching it come to a full boil. That's for the sushi bowl. Bring mixture to full boil, reduce heat to low, and cover with a lid and simmer for 15 minutes. Karen, can I get you to turn that stove on to low, or really, as low as it goes up front,
This one, oh, the oven,
the front one,
front burner. Front burner,
Yeah.
the small one,
yeah.
it's hot.
Well, we'll just try that. Usually you could just take it off and let it sit there on your burner and it stays hot enough, but we're gonna use the burner to make the egg roll in a bowl, so we can't. And usually when it says to use 2 teaspoons of garlic, I use 10. Sorry. I really like garlic. So, if you're using fresh garlic, here's a trick to get these little cloves apart. One time I was helping somebody can ones, and they had to have garlic in their pickles. And they took their little knife, and they did this.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be the longest session in the world. All you do is you can take a jar or anything, but this is a Chinese knife, which is a light knife with a thin blade. And I just take it and and the skin comes right off. And
Did you show the person who was peeling their
yes,
garbage?
because I had things to do. I wasn't gonna stay there for hours.
Invite me to dinner.
As long as you do the dishes, I'll cook. So you can see from this process, the thing that takes the longest is the preparation. Yeah, getting ready. So I'm just gonna take this knife, and I'm not trying to sell them, but they're really nice because you take them and you can use it, and then I'll use it to carry it over to either to the frying pan or into a preparation bowl or something.
Where did you get it?
I got mine off of Amazon. Last year when I was doing this class, or 2 years ago, everybody had to spend tons of money, because by the time we were done with all the demonstration, yeah, Sister Fulmer, after we were done with all of them, oh, I gotta have a digital thermometer, and I gotta have a Chinese knife. Oh yeah, I bought a scale, I bought everything, but I'm not sorry.
So is that what that's called? It's just a Chinese?
Chinese knife. Now you can buy a Chinese cleaver, and it weighs like 3 pounds, and the blade is thicker, but it's also broad. Okay, so it says, bring it to a boil, it's boiling. This is how I do it. This is what I use in my wok. I actually have to stand here and I'll watch this rice. You can turn it down just a hair. But I like to cook all the water down till there's just the lava holes. Then I'll put the lid on and set it on the stove or whatever for 15 minutes, and it will absorb the rest of the water. So would you help me watch this? Well, I guess if we smell crispiness, really done.
Or burn.
Burn.
But sometimes that crispiness is the best part too, not for Oriental food, but other cultures found it at
Persian.
the golden bottom of the rice, yes.
Chinese too, we call it nong. Yeah. Okay, so you saw me smash the garlic, so that's exposing the oils. Then I'm taking my knife and I'm chopping it, so that's exposing the oils, right? Then I take this cool broad blade and I'm going to put it, this is how I cook at home, so don't be surprised if it looks like a big mess. So I'm just gonna put it right here because it's ready. Then I'm gonna take my ginger, and it always says peel your ginger. Well, I rarely peel my ginger because I'm gonna cook it to death, and I'm gonna mince it really fine. So I feel like it's not a necessary step, but that's up to you. You just take your peeler and see, so I'll take it and I'll slice it really thin, like that. And then I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna mince it really fine too, because for people who are not used to ginger, it's really objectionable if you bite into it. Well, you either love it or you hate it. For some people, they hate eating Chinese food after they've eaten ginger because it's so potent.
So you're not doubling that, like you did the garlic?
Like 10 times.
You can if you want. Oh, maybe I will. See, you shouldn't be afraid. You just are gonna try it until you find the flavor the way that you like it. So when we cook Chinese fish and all that, you can see giant slivers of garlic. Onion, ginger in it, and I find it delicious. And you could take it and do this too, which also exposes more of the oil. So I'll put that right there.
Have you taught all your children how to do this?
I have a couple my third son is the best. He can outcook me, but he'll cook all Asian food and he'll try new recipes, and then the others like to eat at our house. They're not as interested in
I want to
cooking.
eat it. That sounds good.
So I'm gonna turn this off now, but I've got little lava holes. I know you won't be able to see this. That's the advantage of being in the front.
Oh, yeah. Don't hurt your wrist carrying that.
Well,
Thank you.
lava holes. They need to
Or steam dance.
Yeah.
Yes, now I'm gonna cover it. Now I'm gonna cover it and not touch it. No. Oh, man, this is a heavy. That's a long ride, guys. Yeah. First I broke my wrist and then I didn't do the therapy, my carpal tunnel. It's been a long march.
Are you eating? Good? We'll find out. You got that bowl, that was good.
Well, you just can't hang around. There's so much to do, right? Okay, then it says to cube sweet onion. I am going to slice my sweet onion because I think that looks more egg rolly. Yeah. So I just took my onion, cut it in half, and then cut it into half the other way, or quarters. So when you're stir frying, you have to keep in mind that you want things that are fairly similar in size, so that it cooks about the same. But you also want to think about your textures and what it's gonna look like when you're done. So I think this is gonna be enough.
I don't know, so those like onions. Would be like your garlic.
Yeah, like I'm not really sure it's enough, but I'm gonna say it's enough. Now, because it's just such a fresh taste, so what's it gonna hurt, right? And then I'm gonna take my cabbage. Remember, this was 3 pounds worth, so I'm just gonna cut. See, I can feel that on my hands when I do stuff like that.
Let us help you if you need help.
Then I'm just gonna cut the core off. This tablecloth is gonna be scary. Okay, then I'm just gonna cut it into thirds, and then I'm going to finally slice it.
Do you want the garbage can on that end?
Huh?
Do you want the garbage can on that end?
Oh, that probably would be helpful. That is my garbage can right now. So this is making coleslaw, right? Look how easy it really is. But like I say, sometimes time is money, so.
Well, and that always tastes better. It's always fresher.
Yeah, because look, 12 ounces, that looks all wrinkly.
So do I.
Me too.
Yeah, it's just 70 years old was all.
But if it's Rod and I, you know, that would just be a perfect size,
Yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't have to have all of this hanging around. Means I'd have to meal plan and use it. Don't laugh. I don't meal plan. I don't use stuff like I should. So you can see I'm just holding this. So Martin Yan. This is Martin Yan's knife. I bought it at a genealogy conference. But you're supposed to hold it like this and then hold your finger here. And if I do that, I'm a lot better off because I have this habit of holding it like way up here, and then I start getting blisters because I'm holding it too far up. I could cut faster, but I can't talk and cut at the same time. Yeah, so then we'd have to throw away all this great cabbage. Had blood on it, huh?
So what kind of knife is that? The brand?
This one's a Jackie Chan,
No, you said the
Martin Yang.
Jackie Chan's like.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, no, it
Yeah, that's not good.
Yan can cook.
Yan can cook.
Actually, you can't.
But you don't have to spend that much money on it. We're just at a point where, oh, that sounds fun. But you could buy them for about, what, $15 to $20. I think this Martin Yan one's 40 or 50. And you sure don't need to.
They're in here from 15 up to 90.
Yeah, 15 up to 90. So make sure it's a stainless steel. And then something else you want to look for, see if this is right, Sister Fulmer.
It's what?
You want it to be a full tang. You want the blade to go clear through, because there's nothing worse than buying a cheap knife that has a rivet here, and then one time when you're doing something and the blade goes poof, falls onto your broken hand or something. So I would recommend looking for that. And even if you're buying a meat cleaver, which is what I use to do like chicken bones and stuff like that, chopping, it's really important that you have a full tang. That may be the word we use, or it may not be. It's what we're using today. Okay, so to cut matchstick carrots, so all you do is to cut it into like fourths or however long you want it to be. And then I always just slice off part of it so that it doesn't roll around. So it doesn't roll around like that, because that's where you're gonna get hurt. And then you can just lay it on your cutting board like that and it stays flat. So then I'm just gonna take my knife and cut it into thin slices. I could have done all the prep at home, but I thought it's fun for you guys to watch how it works. So then I just end up with these thin pieces. So if I want it really short, I can just slice it shortwise, or I can slice it longwise to have it a little bit longer. So I'm gonna slice it longwise because I think it'll look elegant with the onions, right? So my dad, when he was alive, ran a restaurant, and he could take like a whole stalk of celery and just go, it would all be cut.
Your dad was the best cook.
Yeah. So I could do that sorta. Like I said, I risk losing life and limb when I'm demonstrating, so that doesn't work. But you can see where it's just like what are those knives called? Chef's knives. You don't lift the blade, you just go rock, 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 rock. So you're not using extra movements. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm using my fingernails. It's perpendicular, parallel to the blade, but it's perpendicular to the board. So if you always keep it in like this, you're good, but as soon as you start talking and your finger goes like this, so make sure you always have fingernails, because you'd rather cut your nail off than cut your finger. I've done both. Okay, so look how pretty that is. Just matchstick. So I'm gonna take this one that's already sliced for me. Look how quick this will be. Because it's already peeled, so I didn't have to peel it. Then I'm just gonna make it all face kind of the same direction. Lay it on top of each other so you don't do one thin piece of carrot at a time, you're gonna do several. And it actually, look at how pretty that is. It actually is pretty because it has the little serrations on it. So. I could be more careful and make it all the same direction, but we're in a hurry now. So this is the part that takes the longest time. It's just cutting everything up to small pieces. And we're gonna use this in both the sushi and the egg roll in a bowl. So I'm gonna cut more. I kind of like cutting it across the ridges because I think it looks so pretty now that I'm using it that way. And I think it's well worth the $1 whatever we paid for it, because this is worthwhile. So you can see where I'm starting to ride up on my blade, and then I start getting blisters here. So, oh, back, back to the original position. But that kind of hurts my incision, so maybe all right, that was pretty fast, huh? Okay, most of everything. Okay, now I'm just gonna take this onion and slice this up real finely too for Any questions so far? Pretty easy, huh? Whew. Just about to my thumbnail. All right, do you want to hand me the black wok, please? And you can probably turn off that burner. Thank you so much. So this is a wok, and woks never look that pretty the more you use it, because this was beautiful and my friend gave it to us. And then for some reason my husband loves to scrub everything off, including the finish. It's so weird, because they just don't get it. You know, some things they just don't get.
Well, I just think you should be thankful for a husband that wants to scrub your pants.
I am so thankful. And I don't really complain. But it's the same as when they cut your cakes and stuff on your sheet pans and stuff like that. Whoa! And then pretty soon you have all these cuts and scratches on it. It's just foreign to them to use a gentle touch, because they're big and strong.
So is that supposed to be seasoned like cast iron? It's supposed to leave a little
Well,
seasoning on it? I'm just asking.
sometimes when I cook, this isn't a cast iron.
No, I know, it's steel.
Right, it's steel, and sometimes there are little bits. And when I have bits that are burned onto my pan, I just put it on the stove with water in it. By the time I'm through eating, everybody's done eating, then the hard bits have soaked off. But if you don't soak it, then you have to scrub. And I very rarely scrub. So it says, in a large skillet, Put it on medium heat. Add ground meat and cook, stirring until no longer peak, and then drain. We're not gonna drain. Then add your onion, sesame oil, rice vinegar to the skillet, cooking and stirring for a few more minutes until the onions are tender. Then you just add the garlic, ginger, soy sauce, hoisin sauce, coleslaw mix, and carrots to the skillet. Stir for 5 to 7 minutes until the cabbage is wilted. So, this is what I'm gonna do different. I'm gonna heat this pan up. You can tell it's hot now because it's smoky. So, one of the coolest things you can just get is one of these things to squirt your oil.
Another question.
Yes.
You mentioned hoisin sauce, but there's not, in the recipe it says
Right,
garlic, ginger, soy, coleslaw. You're supposed to put hoisin?
I didn't take the hoisin out unless you use it a lot, because
Okay.
I hate to buy a whole jar and then use it for one thing. So I think you can go without it. But if you use it for other things, buy some and put it in. So then you just take your oil and you make this necklace, that's what they call it. Put a necklace around the outside of your thing, and then it just all comes to the middle, so the outside
What
has,
kind of oil?
this is canola oil.
Okay.
Can you use avocado oil?
Yeah,
Okay.
vegetable oil, any kind, I just use canola oil. So this is where I'm gonna vary, sorry, I should have made that change on the recipe, I forgot. Is what we always do when we do stir fry. Well, this knife is just not that great. This is where you can hurt yourself badly. Sorry, it's a bullet.
That's your dinner.
That's your dinner.
Thanks so much.
So that's nice and hot, right? So I'm gonna take my thingy right here, and I'm actually going to stir fry the garlic and the ginger in the oil, because what you wanna do is you wanna flavor your oil. Now smell that. A lot of times when we used to do our restaurant, people would smell just the oil, the garlic and the ginger cooking, and they want some. I don't think you really want that. So really, I'm making the oil have a flavor, right? Then I'm gonna add my pork, because that's gonna flavor my pork meat. It's gonna be all mixed up in this delicious dish.
Suzanne, where did you find the pork then?
What?
Where did you find the pork?
Luckily, they had some ground pork at Winco, because they don't always have it. And I've looked at recipes online for the egg roll bowl, and people use sausage as well. So you might try that. To me, sausage has its own flavor that's not Asian. So it says to stir fry or do it until it's done. So one thing I found is sometimes all we do is stir and it never gets a chance to cook. So relax and let it sit for just a moment.
Can you hold up the, should you need to break up the?
Oh, this is a, what's it called? Chinese spatula. So it has a sharp edge, so you can cut up your meat, and then you can also use it to lift and turn, and you can also use it to carry, a lot like this knife. So it's double duty. Or you can buy a tempered chef thing that has a little thing, and that really works good when you're trying to chop your hamburgers and stuff. Because you're not Chinese.
Or if you know what else that's good, is a potato masher that does this.
Oh,
Not
the
the gridded one, but the little one.
Yeah.
Mashes that.
potato mashers that are zigzag.
Yeah.
That's good at chopping. Sometimes if I'm hard up for ground pork, I'll use my food processor too. Just take a pork loin or some pork chops, take the bones off and grind it up. But I really like it when Winco has the already. Because I use it for wontons and all kinds of stuff. Saves a lot of time when it's already around. We like to use the mirror sometimes, but we have to spread people all over, and then sometimes where you're sitting, you can't see the mirror either, so. See, so I'm just. And the nice thing about the wok is it's got a concave, so when you're cooking and stirring stuff, you're not hitting the edge and then everything goes flying, like your electric frying pan and stuff like that. See, and there really is no oil. This is pretty lean pork. Hurry up. Got things to do, things to eat. You'll notice that everything was chopped up as vegetables, so I haven't cross-contaminated the knives or the boards or anything with meat. So don't be concerned if you see me do other stuff with the same cutting board. Yes.
So do you still add the brown vinegar upside down on the recipe?
No, I added it all at the beginning, and I'm stir-frying it with the meat. So all the flavor is within the meat, and then as we stir it up, yum, right?
Suzanne, do you know how to make yum sauce?
I've seen the recipe. I don't think it's that yum. Do you?
I have a friend who absolutely loves it.
Oh, yeah, just look it up. Yum sauce. There's a knockoff recipe for everything now. Really nice. Okay, so my pork is cooked. And then it says, add the onion, sesame oil, rice vinegar. So, onions. Soy sauce, how much does it say? Quarter cup?
Yes.
Okay, so it says to use a quarter cup. Well, I've used a lot more. I'm going to use a lot more vegetables, but I'm still going to just stick with a quarter cup, just to see. So I think that's a good idea. Because you could always add more salt, but you can't take it away unless you put potatoes in it, and that won't be good.
And a tablespoon of sesame oil.
Thank you.
And a tablespoon of rice vinegar.
Okay, so I'm just going to use the seasoned vinegar because it has a little bit of sugar and salt in it.
Are you pretty careful when you use your sesame oil? Because I know, it's pretty strong.
Yeah, so I'm just going to stick with, right now I'm just sticking with the recipe. Because I have garlic and So just think of how much more flavorful this meat is. So even if you just use 1 pound of meat and you make twice as much bowl, your meat is going to go a lot farther because you're going to have the flavor in it. You can smell the sesame oil, huh? Okay, then it says, stir for a few minutes until the onion is tender. You already skipped the garlic, ginger, soy sauce, and hoisin. Add the coleslaw, carrots. I'm on the egg roll in a bowl. Yeah, make sure you're on the right one, because remember I put the, yeah. So I'm gonna add the coleslaw mix in just because I bought it.
You didn't put the rice vinegar in though.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
See, I need somebody to read the recipes. How much?
1 tablespoon.
1 tablespoon. Well, the worst thing we do is just add more seasoning, right?
Oh, then your carrots.
Yeah, I already added the carrots.
Oh, okay, those others are for the other ones.
Right. So basically what I'm doing is making the filling to an egg roll. So then if you really want to make egg rolls, you can let it cool and then wrap it in your egg roll wrappers and deep fry it.
And it has to be cold to wrap. Don't think you can do it when it's partially warm.
Yeah, because it will steam, it'll steam, the holes will rip into your wonton skins and it'll be enough. Then to make the sauce, you just go and buy the Kern's apricot juice or the Kern's peach juice. It's usually in the Mexican section. And I just add a whole bunch of sugar and thicken it with cornstarch to dip my egg rolls in. Yeah. The Kern's. Okay, so basically all we're gonna do is just let this cook down a bit, and this is your egg roll in a bowl.
Do you ever cover it so it cooks quicker?
I could, but I bring a lid, so.
Oh, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you could. Using a lid will make it cook faster. So while this is cooking, we're going to cut the, it's starting to look really ugly, sorry guys. We're gonna cut the avocado. I think I'll cut some more of this for the, this is gonna go into our egg rolls in a bowl.
You need the other one.
This is for the sushi.
For your bowl.
Yeah, I'm gonna confuse the heck out of you, but
I
yes,
know, you're just.
you gotta be fast to hang with me. So get used to it.
No excuses.
Yeah, just think, if I would have just done Sushi Bowl, how simple we'd be done. Done. Okay, so part of the Sushi Bowl, and my kids love Sushi Bowls. This is like such an inexpensive.
Will you take the seeds out?
I'm gonna take
Do you feed them once a week?
on Sundays. My hardest thing is always trying to decide what to cook until I wrote it all down. And then I look and say, oh, I haven't made that for a while, I guess I can do that. Because I don't like the meal plan. So I took my cucumbers and just took most of the skin off, and now I'm going to just finely cube it. So all you have to do is just take it and cut it into long strips.
It's just this.
Oh, you did love. She's messing with
Excuse me.
So we're gonna use the fake crab for ours. But if you really wanna spend money, you can go buy tuna, fresh salmon. But,
Meyer has shrimp on.
yeah,
This is for
shrimp,
577 pounds.
yeah, like the bay shrimp. I'm kinda scared to use fresh fish here because I just can't imagine it being that fresh in Pocatello, so.
Actually, the butcher block gets in, they fly in fresh stuff, and all their stuff's packed in ice, so you're probably all right if you bought there.
Yeah, but I think you'll enjoy just the crab flakes.
Yeah.
They're really good. And you don't have to worry at all about,
Thick fish.
yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna cut the avocado. Oh, nope, that knife's had,
You found ripe avocados?
I'm not sure. This is the avocado you get. No, it's not too ripe. It's like when you go to Thai Zap and get their mango with sticky rice. Those guys baby that mango until it's just exactly right. And if it's not done, if it's not ripe, they won't serve mango with sticky rice. Okay, I'm turning this off because it's what you call tender, what is it? Not al dente, that's for noodles. Tender crisp. Tender crisp is how you like Chinese food. You don't want it to be too mushy. You grab me a spoon and let me see if it's got enough seasoning. Please. You try it, okay? I mean, it has flavor, so. And then to take the seed out. You can take your knife and.
Why do you still have fingers?
I don't know. God loves me. I shouldn't.
He does.
Yeah. So we're gonna cube this while we're doing something else. Oh, okay, now we'll just use another knife for that. I'm gonna take the crab. I know, I forgot. I forgot this.
Doesn't take very long for those to burn down and wilt, so we don't want to.
So when I put that, yeah, I just, usually when I'm ready to serve, I will add the bean sprouts.
Okay, and the green onions.
Yep, thank you. See, it's wonderful having you here. And because I added all that, I'm gonna add either salt or soy sauce. I prefer salt to soy sauce because soy sauce has a strong flavor all of its own.
Well, now help them with vegetables too.
Yeah. Okay. You guys excited?
Yes.
All right, let's put this over here and I'll put the rice over. Okay. So this is what we end up with, is tons of rice. I'm not sure if we need all this rice, but we're gonna use it. Because I cooked.
You haven't seen us eat.
Well, maybe I have.
Yeah, I know you have.
Okay, so we're gonna use twice as much rice vinegar. So it says to use 4 tablespoons of your rice vinegar after you put the salt and the sugar in it, you know. But since we're just using this,
This is still the egg roll in a bowl?
yeah. No, this is sushi.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry, guys.
Wait, the recipe says 5 tablespoons.
Right, but 1 tablespoon we're gonna put on the crab and all this stuff that we're gonna put on top. So I'm gonna add 1/4 of a cup twice, right? Because I've doubled the rice. I guess I could use a 1/2 cup.
That's okay, that's all right.
Did you use the nori sheet, or that comes last, or?
I'm gonna use furikake that has nori and seasonings that you could put on it if you like seaweed.
And that's dried?
Dried.
Rice seasoning.
Where'd you buy that at?
Makes
Retail?
sense.
Oops.
Well, I don't speak Japanese, so I can't tell you.
So I bet you can buy it off of Amazon. I bet you might find it at the Himalayan Smoke and Craft Shop next to Goodies. Or when I go to Salt Lake, I stop in Roy to the Ocean Mart. Okay, so this, can you bring me a
Yes.
big bowl or a big plate?
A big bowl.
Because we're gonna make a sushi bowl, a giant sushi bowl. And this is where you actually taste your sushi rice, thank you, to see if you like it or not. If you like it more sour, then I add more vinegar. So this is half a cup to 4 cups of rice. And it really doesn't take a lot, but I kinda like my rice to have flavor. I'm gonna add 1/4 of a cup. 3/4 of a cup to all of this, because I didn't even stir it into the bottom.
So it'd be like 7.5 tablespoons for one batch.
Yeah. 3/4 of a cup to, because you only do 1/4 of a cup to the rice, and then you're gonna use 1 tablespoon for the stuff that you're gonna have. Okay, so Karen, we're gonna need plates and forks.
Okay, but do you wanna finish? Oh, aren't you gonna finish? Oh, then, oh, okay,
I'm
never mind.
almost ready.
I don't know, okay.
I'm almost ready.
You're almost ready, okay.
This is supposed to be a beautiful tablecloth to serve on, but it looks like my kitchen. I'm gonna add a little more to the bottom, because I'm gonna have a feeling the bottom has no flavor.
Yeah. Okay. And you need a spoon in, oh, I guess we can use that spoon to
Yeah.
dish up. Okay.
So which restaurant did your family own?
My dad and my grandpa were cooks at the Shanghai Cafe many moons ago.
Okay.
And we don't know if our parents had any ownership in it at all, because we were too young to ask those kinds of questions, right?
Do you wanna soak that pan? The rice pan?
Nah. Okay, now I'm gonna
Still
take,
got rice in it.
Okay.
There's still some rice in the bottom, so.
okay, so you can buy these crab flakes. You can buy them as flakes or as chunks. These are chunks. Or sticks. If you wanna pretend like you're eating real crab. There's no comparison though.
This doesn't match.
It does for sushi bowls. Of course, I bought plenty, just because we had a lot of people here, right? I wonder if we'd be better at putting this on a tray, the rice on a wider thing, so that we could spread stuff all over it, instead of like piling it tall and then so do we have like a wider,
Cookie sheets?
or a bowl, a wider bowl, or a, with a lip on it, and then we'll just spread all this stuff on it. I have just the perfect thing at my house.
Where's this one?
How about a cookie sheet? See, if this was empty, I would just pour it in.
Do you have a broiler pan?
If it's really clean,
Yeah.
yeah. Can you take a paper towel and just wipe that off?
Oh, I can.
Thank you. I'm a little bit fussy about that.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna put that in there, we're gonna put the carrots in there. I'm gonna put the cucumbers in there. And then it says, how do you flavor the vegetables? Okay, so now it tells you to do what? Put all of this in with the crab, we're to the sushi bowl. And then add soy sauce and vinegar, right?
Vinegar, sugar, and salt.
and one.
She's on number 4, not 3. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, because the sriracha goes later.
Soy sauce and vinegar. Sorry.
How much soy sauce?
Quarter cup will do
A
it.
quarter cup.
Quarter cup,
Okay, I'm just gonna put a quarter cup, even though I put all this in,
okay.
cause I don't want it to be overdone.
Down here.
Oh, it's done.
So when you go home, you wanna read through your recipe carefully, because I've jumbled you guys up so much that I really don't even know what we're doing at this point. See how much extra I put in here, this bowl is huge.
Do you need another bowl to mix up?
Yeah. We'll add it later, add more avocado later, it's not that. Quarter cup of soy sauce and a tablespoon of vinegar, right? Okay. Quarter cup of soy sauce. When we make it at home, we don't even add the seasoning. I don't even add the seasoning to this. But I can see where, and I didn't experiment before because I'm working on some other stuff at my house, so I can see where this could add more flavor to your entire meal by adding the soy sauce and the vinegar to. At our house, I just have all of that separate, and then everybody just spoons what they want. Yeah. They love it all, especially the cucumbers and the carrots, because it gives it such a crunch. And if I thought about just rolling a sushi roll for you, but I'm glad I didn't, because that wouldn't have worked time-wise. But all this is what you put into a sushi roll.
Isn't that where you use the bamboo? Maybe to roll
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and a piece of nori.
What is nori?
Seaweed.
You can buy it at Costco.
Yeah, you can even buy nori at Costco now. Isn't that amazing? So we're gonna pretend like this is a nori-less sushi, right? You make a giant sushi. You gotta have all nori underneath.
So are you using the nori in this?
I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna use. It's called the furikake.
Did that come back? And just that little shaker ball?
It's what's coming around.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm just gonna put this on top.
Oh, okay, I'm with you now.
See, so you're just putting all this delicious stuff on top of your sushi rice. I apologize for this terrible looking mess I made.
It's okay.
I'm in practice.
No problem, we're glad you did.
Looks fabulous.
Nobody's complaining.
Too bad you
We're all
didn't
just-
do enough for everybody.
I know. Drooling.
Yeah, front row.
Okay, so that is sushi in a bowl. Now you can also look at the recipe and see where it says you buy mayonnaise, you buy a bottle of sriracha sauce, and then you mix the two together and all that kind of stuff. Or you could just buy it already mixed together. Especially if you're not gonna use sriracha for anything else, then why not just buy this already made and put it in your fridge? Right?
But some of us already have sriracha sauce and mayonnaise, so we won't go buy it.
Right. But if you have to buy all of that fresh, then don't do it.
That's good on tater tots too. Spicy. Because it looked like that sauce. What's this?
Probably really spicy fry sauce.
Yeah, spicy fry sauce. There you go. I bet you people would like that.
We had it the other night, it was good. My husband thought it was fry sauce.
Okay, so I'm just gonna lightly put this on, but if you want more, you just put more on. So this is the sriracha sauce with mayonnaise. doesn't that look beautiful? Okay, any questions? That was really pretty simple. If you were just to make one or the other, it could be really fast, but I wanted you guys to try two things.
Suzanne, you
Well, we were talking about the seasoning.
Oh, yeah.
Is back here.
Oh, the furikake. So you could actually buy the nori at Winco, which is sheets of seaweed, and then just chop it up and sprinkle it on. This is furikake, which has sesame seeds, the seaweed, you know, some salt and things that you could actually put on there. Just it gives it a little more flavor. All right.
That's what you buy or what you chop it.
Yeah.
Okay, can we move this and put the pan on?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, here, I'll do that if you sprinkle that.
I'm just gonna lightly sprinkle this for the same reason, just so you can get the full experience, but if you want more, get more. All right,
Oh, that's got us, you put a spoon in, I think we're good.
here, let's use that spoon.
Okay.
Let's use that giant spoon. All right, ladies, help yourselves. And then you can decide whether you want more soy sauce, more seaweed, pepper. Sweet tomato. I got all of this stuff at Winco. Thank you.